All right, guys. Gabriel Joseph about to kick off serving. You've got Scott Golden and Dave Weinbach. This is the second semifinal in the men's pro singles. And right out of the gate, we see some fireworks with that backhand of Gabriel Joseph.
We talked about this earlier, Scott, today. When Roditi was playing, that he has the best one-handed backhand pass in the game. I think you're looking at the guy that has the best two-handed backhand passing shot in the game, and we saw it on the first point of the match. Gabriel Joseph from the, I think, L.A. County area. Of course, Ben Johns resides going to the University of Maryland, I believe, going into his junior?
I think he's a junior.
Senior, yeah.
I think junior coming into senior year, maybe something like that. Either way, it's impressive at 22 years old. He's the world number one in men's mixed and singles division.
Which, of course, makes him the number one seed in this event today. We saw him earlier today take down Dan Roditi in a fairly easy match. And, you know, Roditi's a heck of a singles player. So Ben, obviously, on his game, looks to me like he's in the best physical shape that I've ever seen him. Seems to get a little body gets a little more refined every time we see him. Gets a little stronger, and if you're his opponent, you probably feel like he's a little longer because the guy is impossible to pass. Scott Golden.
Yeah, we've seen taller guys in our sport, but nobody is good at covering the court so methodically like he does. He's impressive to watch. He slows the game of singles down, and he doesn't even make singles look easy.
Well, if you look at the greatest athletes of all time in any sport, the game is almost like it's in slow motion to them. You know, I've heard interviews with Michael Jordan and even Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and, you know, in basketball, they always say that. They say that when they're feeling their best and at the top of their game, it's almost like the game is in slow motion. They see plays before they happen. And I think Ben Johns is the best anticipator that we have in the whole game. We talked about it earlier, how he reads the opponent's paddle, and he knows where the ball is coming. But he also can anticipate his opponent's strategies very well.
Yeah, I was just, during that break between games, I was just talking with somebody about how he got in the booth in the Atlanta PPA tournament and just blew my mind with his commentary, how insightful he was, and how he's able to dissect a point better than anybody else. I'd put you and him up in the top two as players who are able to jump in the booth and break down and dissect a game and a point better than anyone else.
You know, that serve is very, very borderline from being illegal from Joseph, because what he's doing is he's not coming, to me, that last one, it looked like he wasn't going low to high on the serve. It actually looked like he went high to low. So let's keep an eye on that with Gabe's serve.
Yeah, this discussion happened at the SoCal Classic as well with his serve, as he found himself in the gold medal match against J.W. Johnson. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. The referees are not calling it yet, but he does hit that ball pretty high up on his waist.
And that ball is correctly called wide. I could see some blue space with that one.
I was told from Daniel Roditi that Gabriel Joseph's dad is in attendance, and that's who I think he's looking over. He's not getting coaching. He's just looking over there for some moral support. So I can see his dad nodding in approval when he gets the side out right there. So it's always good to have somebody in your corner.
Oh, absolutely.
Boy, that serve is – he almost comes down on it.
I feel like he starts a little bit above the waist, which you can't do, and then he comes a little bit high to low. So it's really close.
That's very close. So far, no referee that I know of has called him for it.
And Ben hasn't. To Ben's credit, he hasn't whined about it. He hasn't complained about it. He just plays. He's letting the referee do his job.
Yeah, you really won't see Ben Johns complain too much. Gabriel Joseph, very animated on the court. I oftentimes enjoy watching very animated players, and he's definitely one of those.
Yep, he definitely wears it on his sleeve.
It's a great return, but again, Ben Johns just getting the better end of these exchanges so far.
In talking to Gabe, when I first met him, he comes from a tennis background, and we talked about this earlier, how it's such a natural transition for tennis players to come onto the singles side of pickleball. So I would say Gabe is more of a singles specialist, certainly a much more accomplished player on the singles side. Having said that, his doubles game has come a long way in the last year and a half since I have met him. I've had a chance to play a bunch of rec games with him over the years, and he is going to be a dangerous doubles player as he keeps improving. I could see him being a top, 12, 13, 14 doubles player as well.
There's no question he could rise to the top. Again, I'm looking at that serve, and I think it just needs to be noted that that's definitely a serve that could be considered potentially illegal, but none of the refs have called him on it.
That one looked a little better to me.
That one did.
I wouldn't have called that one, but the one previous, if I was reffing, I think I would have called it.
And there's been some talk about that online, but there's that fist pump right there. He keeps looking to his father, I believe, in the stands for that moral support, and he's getting it, as now he's got to find a way to get things going.
Oh, and that sails just wide. The wind is pushing the ball a little bit left to right there, and when Ben hit that return, it was on the line, but the wind drifted it right, and it was correctly called out.
All right, 7-6 now.
Really good volley there by Gabe. When you get that ball so deep in the court like that, it puts so much pressure on your opponent, and he really kept control of that point. And Gabe played really well here, coming out strong here in game one, Scott.
I love the excitement and enthusiasm from Gabriel Joseph. He's playing the #1 player in the world. Why not have a little fire like that? That serve was really, it was long, but it was also really high above his waist right there.
It sure was, and it just sails long. So Johns gets the ball back here.
Down 2. You got to have a little luck if you're going to beat the #1 player in the world. I think luck was on his side there.
And Gabe with a big smile and a chuckle and made a comment to the crowd there.
That, again, it just looks like an interesting. Boy, I tell you what, Ben Johns is just deadly when he gets up to that non-volley zone.
He has the innate ability, Scott. You and I have talked a lot about this off the air with other pickleball pros, but Johns has the innate ability to step up at the biggest key moments in a match. We're early in this match. We're only in game 1. But let's see if he can step up here at the end, turn this around, and capture game 1.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, Ben Johns is known for making comebacks. He's not someone who's typically down in a lot of the games, but if he finds himself in a hole, he doesn't panic. He just continues to be methodical with his strategy and his ability to make a run. He's never in a rush. And all of a sudden it's tied up 8-8 in the blink of an eye. He finds himself in a good position.
This is what I'm talking about, Scott. Ben feels out his opponent early on in a match or a game, and then after a while, he just has the innate ability to turn it to a whole new level and do whatever it takes to win. The greats in all the sports, they've done that. In every sport, they find a way.
I agree. Ben just forcing that error, and it was just making him hit one more ball. I love how Ben Johns is never in a panic. He's always
in control
of everything he does, and that's why he's the best. That's a good Ernie right there.
Yeah, he set it up really well with that two-handed backhand that got low to the Johns backhand and then had an easy forehand put away. He gets the ball back here, down 1. And there's that two-handed backhand that we talked about in our opening here, Scott. It's such a weapon. Normally he actually takes that cross court, which of course is what Johns anticipated there. But he opened up the paddle at the last second and went down the line for a winner.
That's really well hit. Really well hit right there.
See how much topspin he put on that ball? By the time Johns hit it, it was a foot below the net.
That ball dipped big time.
Oh, did he want that? It only missed by a ball, but it was definitely out.
He looked at his dad right there in the crowd and said like that, which, hey, that's the difference in a ball that's
serve.
in or out. Yeah, that serve was good. We've got game point on the paddle of that Franklin for Ben Johnson. There it is. So Gabriel Joseph, 8-10. Ben Johnson starts to take over, ends up winning it 12-10. And we've got a break coming up. We're going to switch ends. We've got 2 minutes for these players to get situated, and we'll be right back. John's serving out of the gate. So this will be interesting to pay attention to. Gabriel Joseph had that win on the tip of his paddle, not able to close it out against world number 1. And what are we going to see from Gabriel Joseph?
Yeah, we saw a huge turn of momentum there in the last 2 minutes of that game where Ben took over. And let's see how Gabe's confidence is coming into this one. We've seen 2 easy points from Ben so far. And that's going to sail just wide.
Boy, not by much, but we are either going to see Gabriel Joseph bow up and bounce back from that game 1 loss, or he's going to just unravel and we're going to see a blowout. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, so far we've seen the second thing that you just talked about in him unraveling, because he gave Ben 2 easy points early on and then just shanked a cross-court backhand about 8 feet out. So let's keep an eye on his mental stake here and his non-verbal here, Scott, because I don't love what I'm seeing right now. See how the shoulders are getting shrugged? He's shaking his head at his dad. It's not looking great here for him here, Scott, early in game 2.
Yeah, and Ben is putting a lot of pressure with that serve. It's kicking different directions, and what I'm noticing is Gabriel Joseph is not able to get a lot of pace on that return, setting up like a mid-court drive from Ben Johns where he's able to dictate the point. So we'll see if that plays out here in front of us.
Oh, that was going to go way out.
Yeah, I don't think Ben worried about it too much on that point, although I agree that ball was going to hit the Tyson McGuffin in the back over there.
Yep, McGuffin playing Roditi over there.
And Catherine Parinto on the court over there against, I don't recognize that competitor.
Good shot there by Gabe. Really putting pressure on Ben, moving him corner to corner.
Yeah, that's great ball movement. Oh, he foot faulted.
Foot fault.
You know, he had the shot lined up for that last point. If he stays out of that non-volley zone, he wins that point. But unfortunately, now it's 4-0. Boy, we are seeing exactly what we thought played out. There's the timeout. I thought it was going to come a little quicker. 5-0. This is Scott Golden, joined by Dave Weinbach as we take this hydration break, brought to you by Jigsaw Health. We'll be back to the action soon.
Jerseylin.
Jardim.
Jardine.
Simone Jardim.
Simone Jardim.
Simone Jardim. Esses gringos não sabem falar teu nome, não?
Ah, tu não tem noção das coisas que eu escuto. Hardem, Jardim.
Jardim. I knew I heard it. I got it. Simone Jardim. I don't know how she doesn't know how to say her.
All right, 5-0 lead as Ben Johns comes out with another monster serve. Gabe down now, 6-0. continuing to glance over at his dad sitting in the stands.
I mean, it's just so many easy ones he's giving Ben. He's just lost his mental focus here. You and I talked about this off the air after game one, is that losing game one like that really affected him mentally. He had control of the game. He really should have won the game.
It's very deflating.
Ball is on the court. Gabe very upset about this because he thought he already had hit the winning shot. But Ben saw that ball coming on earlier.
Long before.
And the ref called it. It's a disappointing thing. It's a tough thing to take for Gabe, but it's the right call.
And you have to think, if it flipped the other way, would he want that ball to be called if he lost that point on the exchange? So it goes both ways.
That's just too good there by Ben Johns.
Again, we talked about the unraveling. When a player is deflated after losing a game that they potentially thought they should win, you oftentimes see this second game just get out of hand, and we're witnessing it right in front of us now as Ben Johns takes control. Gabe shaking his head a little bit there, thinking, if he gets that ball over, I'm just going to sit down and go home.
Ben could have easily hit a regular forehand there, and trust me, if he wasn't up 6-0 or something like that in this game, he would have. If it was 2-0, he would have hit a forehand down the line for a winner.
I agree.
Oh, that's just too good. He deadens the volley with slice spin, so the ball can't come up. It just stays down and low and makes it almost impossible for Gabe to track that ball down. Seven 0 here. Game two.
Nice shot there. Another Ernie. He just jumping over the edge or the corner of that non-volley zone to get a harsher angle. Okay, so he was just asking Matthew Cross, our referee, how many timeouts he had left. He indicated he has one timeout left. He opts to not use it.
Called out.
I'm not so sure that we have the best angles up here, but that was called.
Well, Johns did not question it at all.
Yeah, called out by Gabe Joseph. Oh, boy, that's dangerous right there if he can get that going. You know, sometimes things can change if something just gets you sparked just a little.
All it takes is one shot sometimes, and, you know, let's hope this gets Gabe going and makes this second game competitive. Because his nonverbal wasn't looking really good here about a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's only 2-7. I mean, he's down 5. If he can get a couple points strung together, he can make this a game. But I can tell you right now that that's going to be difficult running sideline to sideline against Ben Johns.
Yeah, you get the sense that Ben is just having his way with him now and just moving him around. And
well,
he just feels like he's in total control.
Ben's able to neutralize the attacking and passing shots of Gabriel Joseph, and he's not used to that. He's used to being able to dictate the points, and Ben does such a good job, as we just saw right there, of slowing the game down and controlling every point. I mean, it's obvious he's frustrated. I don't think there's any question that I would be frustrated, you would be frustrated, along with Gabriel Joseph.
And on the other side of the coin is the confidence in Ben Johns is just exploding as this match progresses.
Well, have you, in all the years you've been playing, Dave, have you ever seen a 22-year-old be so dominant in all facets of the game?
Absolutely not. I mean, when Kyle Yates, 4 or 5 years ago, he pretty much was dominating men's doubles to the tune that Ben does now, but it wasn't at this skill level. He was dominating it, but he wasn't, the player that Ben is. I thought Gabe should have gone around the post there, but he didn't. He went over the net.
And Ben played with him there. I mean, Ben played the game. He said, I'll hit that out ball. Feeling pretty confident. Even so, the athleticism from Gabriel Joseph is pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Oh, boy, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. He said that's the one, indicating that that's the one that's going to get him going. Let's hope it's true. Let's hope he can get things going.
I think he was being a little facetious in that and having a little fun there. That's just terrific court coverage by Ben. I mean, Gabe hit the exact shot he wanted to. But you see how Ben not only gets to the line, but he really leans in. And the reason that's so important is he's able to cut off those angles. And he has very long arms. Not sure if you can tell on TV, but Ben Johns is very long in his arms. He also has very big hands. And he's got a paddle that he has basically built with Franklin. And it's built to his specs. He has a very long handle. Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
He's changed that in the last year?
Yeah, that. I'm looking at it right now. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
I got it.
Thanks, Ben.
I got it. Thanks, Ben. I got it. Hello, this is Jigsaw Health.
Thanks, Ben.
I'm on a call. Uh-huh. Yours.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, just before that timeout break, Dave was mentioning some insightful stuff about Ben Johns and his paddle. Talk about that length that he's got on that handle.
Along with Franklin, Ben has built this paddle to the point where it fits his specs, and he's made the handle a little longer. So what he does, you and I were just talking about this off the air, when he has to really stretch to a volley, what he does is he actually moves his hand slightly down the handle, and that gives him a little bit more reach. It's very, very slight. It's actually hard to even notice. Oh, he got a little cute there.
Yeah, he did. And when you're up a game and up the points that he is, you have the right to get a little cute and a little fancy there. But Gabriel's by no means going to go away here. I think he's going to push and fight, but again, it's just too good for Ben Johns.
You see how long Ben holds that shot? Like, he could have hit that a half a second earlier, but he waits. And the reason he's waiting is he's seeing where his opponent is going to lean with their body weight. And he saw Gabe lean a little right, so he went behind him. He's just a genius at that.
Just impressive.
He's by far the best in the game at waiting for what feels like an eternity when you play against him, almost to where the ball gets behind him sometimes. But he's doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
To wait and read the opponent's movement.
Definitely. So Gabriel Joseph's going to drop down to play for basically the best he can do now is bronze. Ben Johns, as we predicted, is moving on to the finals on Sunday against who did we just see? I apologize. We just saw
we saw De Villiers beat McGuffin.
That's right. So De Villiers and Johns in the finals. Looks like Ryan Sherry is going to be squaring off against either Gabriel Joseph or I believe it's Gabe Joseph. Anyway, either way, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back soon. Scott Golden and Dave Weinbach bringing you all the live action at the Orange County Cup.
I'm here with Ben Johns. He is headed to the final, took down his last match. Gabriel was insisting that you were committing a foot fault multiple times to the ref, then committed one himself and exchanged words with the ref over it. What was going on?
I think he was talking about a foot fault on the serve, not at the kitchen line, so he got one at the kitchen line. But as far as the serve goes, I'm trying out something a little bit new. Sometimes it gets a little bit out in front of me, so when I kind of hit that, I'll actually step in like right after I hit the ball, so it actually looks almost simultaneous sometimes because I'm reaching so far. But I make sure to reach and actually hit the ball and then step in, just because it was kind of a bad toss, so that's probably what he's seeing. But yeah, just kind of experimenting with a new serve.
Yeah, talk about that new serve. It's new this year. Why, and what are you doing?
I'm just imparting spin on the ball on my toss to kind of increase it once I hit the ball. Getting it to move a little more than usual. There's movement in the air, there's movement when it hits the ground. Adding a little top spin to the serve never hurt. So yeah, just kind of figuring it out, seeing what I want to do with it.
Is that based on the rule changes this year?
Actually, no. So the rule changes of this year allowed a COVID serve, which is using the paddle to spin the ball. And then the PPA, for all the PPA tournaments, they did not incorporate these new rules. So I'm not spinning it off the paddle. I'm actually spinning it off my fingers, which has always been legal in pickleball.
All right, and one more question. When it comes to refs and you have a disagreement with a ref, what should a player's approach be?
Really, whenever they make a call that you might disagree with, I mean, they're good at their job. I respect the job they do, and usually they're right. If you go back and watch, video, then usually you're the one in the wrong, just because that's their job and that's not what your job is on the court. If it's something kind of more fundamental, maybe like a technical foul on something you felt was unnecessary or something like that, you can appeal it, but there's no need to be disrespectful at any time. You can always handle it in an appropriate way, and I think most pro players do a great job of that.
Well, congratulations again. You're headed to the final on Sunday.